Let's go through David Bowie's Blackstar music video and decode the symbolism that is all throughout this work. This is like David's parting message to us, and it's encoded with a lot of sacred, mystical, shamanic messages. And a number of people in the comments on the YouTube video say that they don't understand it, or it's about death, or it scares them, or it's just weird. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that in the West we do not know how to code and decode sacred symbology. The West is very rational, and through the last 2,000 years the intuitive side of us was really oppressed. So there's a lot in here, a lot to decode. David was a master artist, and there's just so much here that we'll only begin to decode and open up part of this for us. Alright, so in the beginning we have this descending set of chords, and we have these visions of, what is clearly Major Tom. He's got some blue tape on his boot. He's definitely been through quite a journey, and the descending chords imply that this is a message that is coming down or coming to us from the earth. So there's no mistake here that this is Major Tom, this is David in the suit. Now I'd just like to get to the lyrics here a second. In the villa of Ormen. A villa is a house, so you could say in the house of all men or all people, or in the body of all men or all people. Inside of everyone is what he's saying. And there's already a hint here, because he's Major Tom, David, or what was David, is in the suit, and we have the black star, or this center, being displayed very clearly. All of the landscape is curving to keep that black area in the center, and yet the darkness is emitting light. In the villa of all men stands a solitary candle. And inside of all men is a light. In the center. And he's making the point here by saying your eyes. This light is behind your eyes, coming through your eyes, comes out through your eyes. Just want to stop here a second. So we have a feminine figure that's approaching. And this is significant because typically it's the women, the female, who is more receptive and more open to be able to contact the sacred. So that's why it's so fitting to have a woman approaching here. Now he's singing on the day of execution. Again, don't think this is just talking about death. To execute doesn't only mean to kill somebody, an execution, but an execution is when you do something. So this execution is the start or the initiation. And in the context of shamanic work, an initiation is to cause someone to go through a change in their understanding, in their internal person, in their psyche. And that's really what this video is. This video is an initiation message from David, from Ziggy Stardust, from all that he was, and is transmitted in this music video here. Now, of course, you could say that the mask that he's wearing with the buttons on the eyes, that this is a symbol of death, but at the same time it's also showing that who we thought David was when he was in the body, we couldn't really see who he was, because he was masked by his persona, by the body, by his outward appearance. But who he is moving in this video. So he's going to be coming out through the mask to reveal who he is, and it's really who all of us are. So the feminine is approaching the eye, approaching the center. And there's the shaman moving, doing his work, changing our focus. The tail is interesting here. Most animals that have such a long tail, prehensile tail, it helps them to move and especially helps them to balance. So again, stressing that if we want to encounter the sacred, we have to be balanced. We have to have both the outgoing and the receptive, the masculine and the female parts to ourselves. And again, the center, the great eye, the black star is in view there. And here's the discovery. The music shifts. She opens behind that mask, behind Major Tom's helmet. And what do we see? We don't see the skull first. We see this candle first. So this is, again, a message that if we look inside of ourselves or look behind everyone we encounter, we would be able to see the light that's within them. And the stairway behind here is also a message of transcending the dimensions or connecting through the dimensions, connecting the seen and the unseen. So we first see the candle, then we see what was left of Major Tom, of David, the jewel-encrusted skull. Now this part is interesting, this dancing that's going on here. So what happens? The woman went up to the spacesuit, opened the helmet, saw the light, saw the skull with the jewels on it, and then some kind of transmission occurred, and what happened is it is affecting these people here. And that, I believe, is David's intent through the video, to have an effect. And this kind of shaking is also a very common shamanic type phenomena. Also in Christian history, the shakers also would enter the spirit, and the spirit would come upon them and they would begin shaking. Now, if you've ever had a shaking, either through being too cold and you're shivering, or sometimes we have dreams and our body is jerking, etc., this is shifting. We are taking the status quo and we're generating heat, and we're changing what we were. Now, at the same time, David is singing ah. This ah sound is one of the 5 sacred vowel sounds, and ah is the energy of creation. So David is charging this situation with his own voice, with the energy of creating. It's the energy of fire, also hinted at by the candle, and it is also a feminine sound of giving life or energy to a situation. So the light is breaking through the building and the consciousness. It's causing the shaking, and the feminine is bringing the message, bringing it in balance, bringing it to the rest of the people. The shaman is working, the people are shaking, the transformation is occurring, the adjustments. And David is there, wherever he is actively working right now. Proceeding up the hill, proceeding up to the higher states of consciousness. If you open to your intuition, you can open to the higher states. Inside of everyone is the light. Ah, charging it with the feminine energy, with the energy of fire. All right, now what's happening? There's like a rainbow there. There's the sounds, the shaman is still working, and what happens? His effect is to gather the people into a circle. Now this is very interesting. If you look at this carefully, you'll notice that this is presumably the skeleton from Major Tom, and it is going through the ascension. process to whatever this larger dimensional black star is. And this also looks like a portal. So symbolically, this is saying, and if you notice, the skull is not part of this skeleton as far as I can tell. So this is telling us that yes, David's body has passed on, but part of his work is just starting now. The next part of his work of affecting consciousness, of bringing great creativity and the ability to see change and to be change is not left, is continuing through his music and through his videos to affect people if we know what to look for. So part ascends to the greater whole. There's an effect. The circle in the back, the light coming through consciousness, entering, the shaman working from the higher dimension. This reminds me of a spiral. The shape is changing. And at this point we cut to this field and a different sound, the ooh sound. So the field that we saw, it looks like some kind of grain. One of the great symbols of resurrection or higher states of life is wheat and other forms of grain. So we're going to cut to that scene, and this is a very masterful transition from one part of the song, one part of the video, to the next one. And the sound here is not ah, that's the creative sound, but the sound is ooh. Even though in the lyrics it's written as O's, it's actually pronounced as ooh. And ooh is one of the sacred sounds as far as containing divinity, or if you had divinity raining down on you, it's a way to make a cup, the ooh sound. It's a way to contain and hold and capture the divinity, the divine vibration that's present. And now it's very interesting because David is here almost like a preacher holding a book that looks like an old Bible with a black star on it, and the eyes are raised up. So again, it's a signal that whatever Blackstar is about, it's not about death. It's about raising consciousness, raising understanding of who we are. So this is not about spooky music. This is about grabbing your attention, tapping into a spiritual vibration, sweeping from left to right with the book. And the music shifts, this kind of up, this almost church organ lifting at this point to try and beckon the sacred angelic type vibrations to really capture what the message is. Now he's standing inside of a triangle with a circle behind him. He's talking about his passing. His spirit rose. All right, so there's just so much in this situation. He's saying that when one person exits the body, another soul, another being comes in, and what do they say? They say they're a black star. So that's part of his hint. What does he mean by black star? He's not just talking about an eclipse. He's not just talking about the fact that your eyes are the portal to the soul. But we as stars or angelic beings, when we take on the robe, when we take on the physical form, our light is somewhat obscured. We become a black star instead of a white star, and we have that shift, and the soul that comes in knows that it has changed. So again, he is going to go to the eyes here to help you realize that what is behind the eyes, as if the eyes, each pupil is a black star, you as the black star are behind the eyes. You are the star that's there inside the body. The angel falling, coming into a body. All right, very important point there. How many people tell lies instead of talking tall? So David, throughout all of his life, was interested both in a creative expression, but also in a sense of justice or a sense of right living. He oftentimes was behind causes that people should be equal, people should be free, and that was part of his message also, and he's stressing it here again, to really connect with somebody. Whoever you interact with, try to be an authentic person, try to express who you really are, and try to see the light behind their eyes also. Trod on sacred ground. All right, so I'm going to take you home, take your passport and shoes. He's not just talking about death. When you die, you don't need your passport anymore, you don't need your shoes. But here, the message of take you home from a shamanic viewpoint is, I want to help you understand who you are. I want you to help connect you with who you are inside. Your home is really inside of you, inside your heart. Take your passport and shoes and your sedatives move. You're the flash in the pan. I'm the great I am. All right, so he said, you're just a flash in the pan. And many spiritual traditions, including Buddhists, recognize, everything is transient and this life is very short. So this life is like a flash in the pan. And the other pole of existence is the great I am. So David is saying, you who are still in the body, still on the earth, are like a flash in the pan. But if you can operate from this other aspect of the light within inside of you, then you can function from the perspective of the great I am. All right, very significant there, the raising hands up to the light. This again is a very shamanic journey. When you want to raise energy, you raise the hands. So he's taking all of the lyrics, all of the visuals, and he's giving it an extra energy to raise up to the light there. Very significant. Open heart. So again, he's seeing from an open heart. He's got game. It really has come together here at many levels for him through this video and his realization about the impact that he and everyone can have on the rest of the planet by focusing on what's true, focusing on the inner core, and using our life to try and raise others also into their own awareness of the fact that they can be happy. And the open arms. This is just a tremendous pose. All right, eagles in my daydreams. That's a power symbol. Eagle is a symbol of the Great Spirit. Diamonds in my eyes. Diamonds also made me think of Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. And again, this big hand wave. Just an enhanced view of reality, or the ability to see the higher realities. The fact that we are like diamonds. We are that kind of beauty. Back to the wheat, symbol of life and resurrection. All right, very significant. Nearly everyone who knows anything about Christianity would appreciate this being the view from Golgotha, the three figures on the hill of crucifixion. The symbolism here is just, extremely overt. You've got the three people on the hill who aren't necessarily going to react the way that we would think they are, but you have the wheat here. So I think the message is very clear. On the one hand, that the process of what we think about as death is really a process of resurrection, a process of awakening to higher states of reality. And really the whole symbolism of the dark star being the pupil or the eclipsed portal is that this is the portal. Death is the portal. And when we have these intuitive experiences, we can begin to sense or receive information from or interact with where we go or what the condition is beyond this lifetime. All right, so this is interesting, you know, these kind of gyrations through the midsection, through the torso. On the one hand, it's dancing. On the other hand, even though these figures mostly appear to be male, this reminds me of belly dancing. In our inner sections, in our bowels, you know, we talk a lot in our Western society about head knowledge, very intellectual, technical focused, and yet the core of our beings, where we hold so many of our emotions and where we can get locked up and blocked so many times, is in the abdominal core. So it's really important to move the abdominal core. So this is very similar to the previous body movements that were the shaking. The shaking is kind of a whole body thing. Now, to me, what this says is, in the video, David is trying to work on a deeper part of the being, the part of the spirit and soul that is rooted very deeply in the physicality that needs to be shaken up in a different way. He is trying next in the video to really go to a visceral gut part of ourselves to affect a change in us. All right, so this is very interesting. Born upside down, born the wrong way around. And most normal births are head first. And he's using that analogy or that picture to indicate when we come into a body, a lot of things are upside down. How we experienced reality or our great sense of freedom, sense of very large connectedness is all of a sudden constrained, and the picture of the normal human birth of the head coming first, coming out of our mother's upside down, is kind of a metaphoric sign that things are backwards, and it can be a very challenging process to go through human life, because things are not automatically the way that we were used to before coming into the body. All right, again, moving the midsection. To me, this is, again, a shamanic sweep. David doesn't have a drum or a rattle here or any kind of an implement that shamans would normally use, but he has the black star. So he is waving the black star over the situation. The abdomens are gyrating, and the shaman is there moving the message, moving the energy to have an effect. Again, the ooh sound, the divine sound, trying to work it very deeply into us. That was almost like a sense of jubilation with that laughter. Very much concentration going on by the shaman. Shaman looking out over the whole earth into the field of grain. Kind of ecstatic movement, even though through the life process that seems like a crucifixion. Now, at the same time here again, while the shaman is passing the black star, while the people are having the visceral change going on, there are a group of people who work with the shaman, who gather to do ceremony. Again, most of these, I think everyone here is female. So no matter what spiritual circle you go to, unless it's exclusively male only, women, females, always predominate because they are more tuned into the intuitive. It's just easier for them to be able to connect with the divine because they can become still. They have this receptive type energy. It's also possible for a man to do. David, he stressed this androgynous image. And I don't think that was just because he was looking to sell records or it was part of his persona. I think he really was trying to balance inside of himself, and it became expressed that way. So while the shaman is doing his work, while the people are being affected viscerally, the women are gathering. They're gathering their energies together, and they are on the earth. They're not on a cement floor here. Reminder of the inner light, the solitary candle. Now presenting the skull. Presenting, to me, the skull is David's work, and the skull is a symbol of this entire video, and also the Lazarus video. And you see the light streaming out of it. So it's like he was putting his energy, the message, whatever he was carrying in his life, in his psyche, that he had coming in, that he then developed in his life, he is pushing it all out in these videos, in this one and in Lazarus. And it has an effect. The people are shaking. They're being changed. So what happens is we have the gathering of the women, the effect, the priestess is there. This to me speaks very much that the return of the divine feminine, the balancing of masculine and feminine energies on the earth, the messages from the higher dimension just there ready to stream out and streaming out upon us. And those who are willing to be carriers of the message and to really want to affect peace and transformation on the earth, some of all of the beings who are affected, some of them step forward to step into a deeper way into the message, into the transformation coming. She steps forward, makes contact, has that reaction, is very much connected. Transformation, going through the whole arms out, arms to the side, crucifixion type mode, arms up, again, connecting to the higher energies. Centering, almost like she's doing yoga. Only women kneel and smile. The women kneel because they're receptive and able to sense the energy, and they smile because they realize that they are helping to birth. So this circle of women here is not just some kind of ritual. This is also a birthing. Not only does David say we come into the world upside down, that's a symbol of a birth, but this whole, Blackstar in the sky, the circle that's there, it's not only a portal, but it's a birth passage. And I think that's one of the core messages of David's video and his last works here, is that he was sent to help usher humanity through some kind of great portal, some kind of great transformation. All right, shaman is working. Portal, this very interesting jumping, changing energy. Again, large changes there. It's almost like these women are giving birth or something, right? Again, birth, shamanic type, ceremonial energies, shaking, changing the body. The shaman is working. The shaman is David, on the ground, connected to the earth, rooting the energy from the higher dimensions, all the light coming out, the smoke, the divine feminine, the priestess, cranking up the energy, those who can see it working with the earth. And this is high global transformation right here. This is very powerful. And the shaman, you can see David's the shaman there working it. He's also the shaman walking. The message sent to the earth, the message received. David's still working it, the shaman. The people being affected. This is the emergence, the transfer through the portal into the new reality. And the black star will appear at the end. That's just, it's a tremendous video. It's a tremendous gift. I urge you to watch the video now again in its original form and to reflect back on the few things that I've decoded here, and to look at it as if it's a transmission from David, from the higher dimension, from that part of us that is all together in unity in order to effect a huge blessing upon the earth now. This is a real transmission, and David's passing initiated some next phase in the emergence of the divine upon the planet Earth.